Welcome to another edition of Hammersim Battle Reports. This is an 800 pointer, Dwarves versus Vampires. And here we have the terrain set up. We have a watchtower off to one side there, a two-story building, a blessed bulwark which surrounds the building, a couple of mystery forests. We had a marsh. We did forget to roll up exactly what kind of marsh it was, but it doesn't come into play in this game. There is a Sigmarite shrine there as well. We rode for deployment. The Dwarves won, and unsurprisingly he chose the side that is easy to shoot from. And this is what the map looks like after deployment. My friend has fielded a organ gun which he placed inside the watchtower, a 20 strong warriors unit. It also has a general and a thane. I forgot to mention the general is a runesmith and the thane is a BSB. He also placed 12 Thunderers inside the two-story mansion there, which gives him great line of sight and also very hard to attack from because I have to assault the building to get him out of there. As far as my army is concerned, I have fielded 2 units of 10 skeletons, champion and standard bearer. I have a necromancer level 3 lord, that general, that is hiding inside a 20 strong zombie unit. I have a white king BSB inside a graveguard unit that is fielding a banner of barrels, which is +1 to hit in close combat. Dwarves go first. This is his turn 1. As you can see, there's actually not much he can do here. I've deployed away from his organ gun. The range of it is 30 inches, which I've indicated with a blue line on the map here, and his thunderers are just outside of range, and yeah, that's it for Dwarves. So during my turn 1, I move all of my infantry up. The skeletons do come in range of his organ gun, but I'm thinking that I can handle it because it's at long range to him. I end up turning my general at his organ gun as well and attempting a larger cast of Gaze of Nagash, which is a magic missile. However, he does dispel this. Dwarves turn 2, he does not declare any charges or moves. During the shooting phase, he targets one of my skeleton units with an organ gun, and to my surprise, he ends up killing every single model in there. He also targets my general's unit with a thunderer volley and manages to kill 2 zombies. So in my turn 2, I am now a little bit freaked out about the strength of that organ gun. I thought my unit could handle it and I could raise him back, but if he's going to be able to kill all of the models in one hit, I need to get my skeletons out of there, which I do so. I put them into the forest. I believe that was a poisoned forest, but it doesn't do any damage to me. I end up moving my general behind that forest to try and make his thunderers have more difficulty to shoot at me, and I move my graveguard unit up along the flank there. During my magic phase, I cast Van Hells at my graveguard, which moves them right up, ready for a charge the next turn. Dwarven turn 3, he faces his thunderers into the graveguard, or he doesn't actually have to face it, he just shoots from the building, but you get the point. He moves his general unit along there, ready to assist if needed. He fires at my graveguards and does a whopping 7 wounds, takes a rank and a half away from me. During my turn 3, I declare the charge. Now I am within my movement to his thunderers, so he doesn't get a stand and shoot, and I make it comfortably. I don't think I could fail. I also push my generals up so that he's within 6 inches of the graveguard unit, ready to do a heal, which is an invocation of Nehek for those that don't know. And I get this off in my magic phase and roll very well, especially for my graveguard, which puts him back to full. During my close combat phase, I end up doing very well. I can't quite see on my notes, but I believe I might have had Van Hells to help me with this, because I think I had rerolls to hit. I end up doing 8 wounds thereabouts to him, and I copped about 3 wounds back. Unfortunately, I didn't realize at the time, because I'm still new to 8th edition, that if you're in a building and you're getting assaulted, you're stubborn. And Dwarves, stubborn with BSB close by, yeah, they're not going to fail leadership, so I am stuck outside the building. And once I've finished the assault for that turn, I have to displace myself 1 inch away from the building so he gets to shoot at me next turn. During Dwarven turn 4, he marches his general up along my Graveguard's right flank there and proceeds to shoot at me with the people in the building, the Thunderers, and he does a couple of wounds, not much to talk about, but now I'm desperately needing to go inside that building, otherwise I will get charged by those warriors, but I figure with 3 wounds left in his Thunderers unit, I should be able to do that with no problems. Vampire counts turn 4, I declare my charge. As expected, he doesn't get a stand and shoot again because I'm so close to the building. I charge in there, I think I end up doing 6 wounds to him. He rolls 5+ ward save and ends up only taking 2 wounds, and the one dwarf that's left in there ends up passing stubborn leadership again, and I'm stuck outside the building. That is great. So, Dwarves turn 5, I am now up Shet Creek without a paddle. That single lone Thunderer has just kept my whole unit out, and that warrior unit's probably gonna smash me this turn. However, I do notice something strange here. Now, I do need some help with rules clarification from anybody watching this video, but when he declared a charge with his warrior unit against my Graveguard, I'll put a closer look on it. My Graveguard actually can see majority of his units there, or very close to majority of his units there in my frontal arc, which I'm assuming by the new rules means that he has to charge me at the front. But however, I do have the building in the way, which means that I can't close the door if he chooses to charge me at the front. And yeah, I don't know how this rule actually operates, because I have seen it in a couple of other videos where people have failed to charge when an obstacle prevents the unit being charged from closing the door. I mentioned this to my opponent. He obviously wasn't too pleased with the ruling, so I think we ended up just deciding that he should have the flank charge. We'll worry about this rule when we get more help from the internet. So yeah, if anybody's got any rule clarification for this particular scenario, please let me know in the comments. And there we go, he gets the flank charge and we do combat, and he hits me with all of his characters, his champion, as well as the supporting attacks. He ends up doing, I think, 8 wounds to me, and I end up doing only 3 back to him because I push my White King up into base contact. He ends up winning the combat by 8, and I only had 8 Graveguard unit models left in that unit, so I decided to take a wound on my White King and keep 1 model remaining from the unit in the hopes that I can raise him back next turn. So Vampire counts turn 5. Forgot to mention, after the combat before, I did do a leadership role and reformed so that he's no longer in my flank. I threw all my dice at a invocation on the Heck, which brought my Graveguard back to 9 model strong, including my White King there, so 10 models altogether, and increase the size of both the skeletons and zombies there. Now I make a big mistake here. I forget that he has 1 Thunderer left because I am so concerned with the hand-to-hand combat against his warriors unit there, and for the rest of the game I forget to charge that Thunderer unit, and he keeps the points for that. During my close combat phase, I can't actually remember who issued the challenge, but my White King ends up being in the challenge with his Runesmith general. So that's my BSB versus his general. They end up killing each other in that challenge. His unit does 2 wounds to my Graveguard unit, and my Graveguards do 4 to him. I think I end up losing combat by 1, so one of those Graveguards pop. So after turn 5 of Vampire Counts, there wasn't actually much to speak of. I think my opponent does the sneaky thing and doesn't shoot with his Thunderer, because I think he noticed that I forgot to charge them, and yeah, that sneaky little bastard there ends up living and denying me the points. In the close combat between the warriors and the Graveguard, he manages to get me down quite low again before my turn 6, but by my turn 6 I've raised more of them up, and by the end of the game, this is what it looks like. So he had his BSB remaining, as well as a few warriors. So neither of us got points for our main infantry units there. So, the only points that I scored of him was his general. So I get the points for him as well as killing his general. He scored a skeleton warrior unit off me and my BSB. So it ended up being a draw. So at the end of that game, I had these thoughts. Very unclear about that charging rule. So as I said, my unit did have majority of his unit, or I believe the majority of his unit in my front arc there. So I thought he needed to charge me in the front, and it would have been a failed charge because there was no way to get to me. But you know, I'm looking for thoughts and opinions on that, or if anybody knows the rules exactly, please comment below with a link to what page it is on the rulebook, and we'll check that out, and yeah, hopefully improve our gameplay. The other things I've learned is I need to pay attention more. Towards the end of the game there, I just really needed to charge that Thunderer unit, but I forget, and I didn't claim the 100 or so points that was up for offer. Probably could have won me the game. As far as my opponent's concerned, he had deployment issues. He had a really nice spot with his organ gun. He had a line of sight to everything, but unfortunately, with only 30-inch reach, he couldn't hit any of my units after that initial round anyway. I believe if he fielded a grudge thrower, probably would have worked a lot differently for him. But being that it's an organ gun, he probably needed to field it closer to his the rest of his troops, or maybe his troops closer to his organ gun, so forces me to charge directly at an organ gun. So yeah, what are your thoughts? What could we have done differently? Look forward to the comments, and yeah, hope to see you again sometime.